So sometimes there's a little plug that goes onto the little PCB board, the flush button board at the top. A nice little reminder here actually. I'm just checking my nuts, but check your nuts. It's always good to check your nuts. Bailey always have a little dodgy locking nut, or the newer Bailey's always had a little dodgy locking nut. So making sure that your little locking nut is always in your Caravan if you've got a Bailey, because obviously if you have a puncture and you need to swap your wheel over and you haven't got this little locking nut, you're not going to be able to do it even if you phone up the AA. So if you've got a Bailey, make sure you've got that little locking nut if it's the type that needs it. If it doesn't need it, you don't need this, basically. Busy little week.
Can't you get it in?
I can't get it in. So I'll just double check these wheel nuts are all torqued up correctly. And the torque for your van, if it's not on the side sticker, so look on that little Besser car there, that's got the little side sticker on. That should, in theory, tell you what the Newton meters are to torque your wheel nuts up to. So always worth just double checking that they're torqued up correctly. Making sure that you've got, if you've got a locking wheel nut on your van, make sure that you've got that locking wheel nut. So a few new vans that have come in, we're going to move some round because I've made some gaps. We've got the Sterling Elite 560. Now I need to re-crisp check this, so making sure that your Caravan is correct as it should be, it's not been stolen, and doing that with your crisp number. Now you can scan the little QR code, and what happens when you scan that little QR code?
So it comes up with a thing. I never even knew it came up with a thing.
Comes up with what thing?
A thing.
A thing? What thing?
Well, we'll do it, shall we?
Does it just come up with a link to the CRIS database, or it doesn't do a CRIS check when you scan that, does it?
No, it just tells you what the van is.
Oh, so let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's try it. Comes up with that.
Comes up with that.
So,
open.
Oh, was that was an advert that you just clicked on?
Oh.
So you don't want to click on the advert. Oh, we're back on the advert. This is a good video. So what does it tell us?
Up there.
So it goes to Chris. Oh.
Tells us what it is.
Oh, look at that. So it just tells you quickly what the van is and just confirms. So if you're going to buy a Caravan.
Did you know that before?
Yeah, I knew that it took you to Chris. I didn't actually know, to be fair, that it gives you a brief information like that. It's obviously not a Chris check, so it doesn't tell you that it's stolen, finance, the owners and all of that. You have to do a proper Chris check for that. But yeah, I thought it just linked straight back to the Chris.
Have you ever tried it then?
I've not, no. It's come up and I've never actually done it.
Yeah.
Because normally that's not how we do a Chris check, but that's an easier way to do a Chris check if you've got a newer Caravan, isn't it?
Well,
so,
it's not a Chris check, is it? It's just
no. I mean,
it is what it
but
is.
then you can go from that to do the Chris check, and you've not got to write all that long number in.
Yeah.
So worth doing, and double check on your Caravan. Let us know in the comments if you've got that sticker on, and go up to it this weekend. Put it on there and see what it comes up with, and let us know that you've done that in the comments of the video.
And that your van's the same as the one that it says on the sticker, because apparently scammers are doing different stickers with different QR codes that don't work.
From other vans, yeah. So hopefully nobody does that and it comes up with the wrong information. And if you've not got that newer one with the QR code on, yeah, you've got to put it all into Chris and pay for a Chris check. So probably, hopefully your dealer's done it. So obviously something that we do is Chris check everything, and that then tells you whether they're stolen, the owner is correct, and whether there's any finance or anything outstanding. Finance is a nightmare on them because sometimes the finance has been cleared off the system, but it's not actually been cleared off the Chris system. So it's still showing on Chris that there's finance outstanding.
You had a right game with one recently, didn't you?
Yeah, and also a while ago, popping up now, there's a video where it actually showed up that it was stolen, and it was that the previous owner had given the police the wrong Chris number, so it had shown up on the system that the Caravan was stolen, and it wasn't stolen, and that was a nightmare too. So
they obviously didn't check make and model and number.
No,
surely it can't have been the same.
Well, no, it all came up with different information, but yeah, they thought the police would have picked up on that, and they never did.
No.
So nice 560. It's just come in. It needs a hell of a clean.
Yeah, they've had some fluffy covers on the upholstery.
I think they've got it covered. But nice island bed at the back. So hopefully this will all be cleaned up, ready for the weekend. Careful how far you go to the back, because there's no leg down at the back. I thought I'd tell you that once you've actually walked to the back.
Yeah.
So this is a nice one that's come in. Aldi central heating, big fridge freezer, and a few other bits and bobs. Extractor in the fan. So these are
extractor in the fan.
Yeah, extractor in the fan. I'm trying to get all my words out, aren't I?
The shiny wood in this is similar to the wallboard we've picked for the lorry build.
So first job of fitting the boiler is actually cutting the hole. Now I've had to remove the aluminium frame that was sort of in the way, as the boiler was going to be in the way, and that then has allowed me to fit the boiler nice and snug. I've ended up raising so we've ended up blocking the floor slightly just to raise it and give it a little bit more height, because without raising up the height, the bottom edge was just going to hit that rail there. So by raising that up, I've just given it enough clearance, and that will then allow me to fit that nice and snugly. Put the cover on, and we've got plenty of clearance and no issue. So my next job now is to seal this cover into place, fit the holding screws, and then I can fit the outer cover. So, a bit of an update with the lorry. Front, you may have already seen previously, I got all the cab and front painted and done. And then I've got the one side all in base coat now. Now, my issue is I ran out of time, and I didn't actually get a chance to get the side in lacquer, because I'd got a couple of little areas that basically reacted. There was a little bit here, which is okay. All the marks on that now are watermarks, because I tried to wash it off the other day, because we went for our first little journey in it to see whether it all fell apart, and it didn't. It was okay, it wasn't too bad. And then I've got a bit of reaction just up that strip there. So basically where I'd over sprayed the lacquer, it pulls all in, it pickles, and the paint pickles, and you can sort of, if I get in close there, you can see where the paint had pickled. So I've been filling it back in, and then just trying to lose that, and then what I'll do is I'll spray back in with the base coat. But that stopped me from then getting the lacquer on. Now the problem is, because this base coat has all dried, I've got to re-base coat it again. So I've got to put in the edge down here, and then I've got to re-base coat the whole lot, because I didn't put the lacquer on within 24 hours. I screwed myself over. So one step forwards, two steps back is pretty much the common theme on the lorry, but we're getting there. We are getting there, slowly but surely we're getting there, and it's starting to look, oh, if I don't fall in big holes, it's starting to actually look like something. And from this side it looks pretty good, isn't it? Yeah, similar. So there's a Luna coming again. They're just starting to wash that, so I don't think we're getting that properly. That's got a nice island bed. On Friday we had a very quick look in that one. There's a nice Valencia, so again another part exchange. There's a van conversion. We might poke our head in if you missed that on Friday. The Phoenix, that came in and got sold straight away.
It's a lovely van though, that Phoenix.
Yeah, that was nice. I think it's all locked now. He has been in it this morning. Yeah, it is locked. But that got the island bed off the back, 2023. Again, that had got the newer QR code, so you could check. Yeah. You could check that. This one is a bit older, so you can't. But yeah, no sort of QR code, so you can't do that one. Maximum is $14.97. So again, motor mover, nice fixed bed one. This one again. Legs are down on this. We are going to move this.
Are we?
But we haven't got it prepared to move just yet. So I've got some big holes on the pitch in the middle. Two things that have come up against, two customers that have come up against issues this week. So cassette toilets. So popping up now, and I think I've touched on this a while ago, but popping up now is the little fix video if your toilet cassette isn't working. But what that didn't cover is the little plug. So sometimes there's a little plug that goes onto the little PCB board, the flush button board at the top, and it's actually the connections into that plug that are the issue. Now, instead of having to buy a complete new wiring harness, you can buy just the little plugs and rewire those in. So popping up now is the video of that happening. My toilet pump is not working. Now, we recently did we did a video a while ago on the Thetford cassette toilet pump not working. Now that video is popping up this side or that side, and that's going to go through all the basic checks to make sure that everything is correct and doing what it should be doing. So we've sort of checked our fuses, we've got power where we should be, and we're at the point where we now actually need to strip the toilet down. Everything looks good, and we need to now remove our top plate. So this little sticky pad is just literally stuck on, and then it reveals our board. Now as we've pulled this up, what we've actually found is that our wires are all corroded. They're all rubbish. They're not making any good connections whatsoever. So the only option is to replace this little plug. Now you can buy a complete wiring harness, which is about 50 quid, and it's quite an expensive sort of section. It's all of the wiring down to the pump, back down, and it's a bit of a game. But what we can get is our little spare parts. So we can get the Thetford SC400 connection spare kit PCB, and that basically gives us new connectors, and that's what we're going to use. So we're going to cut our wires off and then reconnect them back in to this board, and hopefully that is going to solve all of our issues. So what I'm going to do is start off literally by clipping our wires. Now I don't want to take all of them off all in one go. I'm going to literally do one by one, just to make sure that I get them in the correct order. So when we look at our plug, it's that way around, and we've got our end one here. Now these need to push in onto the little connectors, and you can get a proper little tool to push these in, but a little flathead screwdriver will also do the job. So we're going to try and get it started. It's quite fiddly. If you've got big sausage fingers, you might find it difficult. I've got small fingers and I'm still finding it difficult. So we're just literally going to push that in, and it's going to make a connection. Make sure it's nicely pushed in to our little connectors, and basically those connectors look like that. Don't know whether I've got any focus there or not. So they look like that, and then they'll push onto the wire. I'm not in a great place to video here. unfortunately. I'm trying to do it off my phone, so it's not fantastic. So, but we push these connectors on, and we need to make sure that they're fully engaged and put. So then we can make sure that they're fully pushed in. So they need to push right down to the ends of the connections, and hopefully then that is going to have made a good connection, so we can now put it back together and test it. So pump power back on. So does it actually work? That's the question. Oh, it does!
Is that just as easy as wiring a normal plug as well?
So you'll see on that video that I hadn't got that you can buy a proper tool to push the wires onto those connections properly, and they're not that expensive, to be honest with you, but I hadn't got it with me, so I just used a flat-headed screwdriver and push the wires onto the little connector, and it's literally push them in, make sure that they're making a good contact, click the back and it locks it all in place, and it's a brand new plug. So if you've got bad connections, so sometimes because it's a wet area and they sort of corrode up, and it's that plug that can cause the issue, and it might be actually bad connections on the metal contacts, or it might be bad connections with the wires going into that plug, so that gets rid of all those issues. So good little video, and a good little way to just be able to replace that, so hopefully that will help somebody. Now you can see quite a big gap here in the middle, so all the vans that we've got sort of, I think there's 3 more to come in, so we're going to put in a couple there. The 835 is going to come back into here, so I think we've got 3 gaps sort of in this area. 835, and then the camper van. I don't know where to put the camper van at the minute. Yeah. Tow cars, we're hoping to sort our tow car out. I'm hoping that we've not made a mistake, but I think we're going back to Land Rover, aren't we?
Yeah.
I think we're going back to Land Rover. So,
but it's lease, it's alright if it goes bang.
Well, yeah, it's not so bad as it just go, there it is, sort it out, have it back. And we've not actually really lost anything, give us another car basically, so yeah. But yeah, that's sort of, I've hopefully tried to cover a few different things in this week's video. I had a look at a few new ones that have come in. That camper van, I'm not sure where I'm going to put that just yet.
It needs to go with these camper vans,
yeah,
doesn't
that's
it?
sort of what I was thinking. So I might move the base camp further up, so I've got to figure that out. So hopefully next week's video I'll have the pitch all sorted, and I'll have decided, and you'll be able to see what has happened then. Hopefully a couple of tips coming up again next week. I've got a few more nice vans coming in next week as well. 2023, really nice van. We went to look at that the other day, didn't we? So that'll be here for next week, I believe. Might have our new tow car for next week as well. Depends whether we make our decision up or not, so we'll see. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. I'm Mark at the Caravan Place.